Hello, lovelies. This is Lynn, the Silver Goddess Tarot. I am doing a weekly reading for the upcoming week of 7/13 through 7/19, 2025. Um, I'm going to start off with what we can expect this coming week. I'm sorry for kind of looking very pale. Obviously I have a background up on my Zoom, but I have a window behind me and windows. Okay, so this way the way you're looking, but technically they're that way on my side. Um, and so it's washing me out of it. It is finally a sunny, beautiful sunny day here. Hot, humid, but it's finally sunny. It's been a rough week weather-wise for us. Um, Here in the Midwest, we've had tornadoes and heavy storms and flooding and all the things that I predicted last week have come true. Anyway, so let me get into this reading. I'm going to start with what we can expect with 45 this coming week. All right, let me pause for a moment and go off screen. Okay, so at the start of everything, he still retains his power and he still has a selfish agenda. And the news, the media are still giving us misleading headlines, and that's because they are under controlled speech. So that's not changing overly much. But what I do like is this row and this bottom row. So, full of bees. So the voice of the people are going to get louder. And what I suspect this means is that we're going to see more and more protests this week. And then the upcoming weeks, we're going to see shifting alliances. Um, People who have previously been ignorant, if you will, of politics, or who've been who've leaned into the Republican side, they're going to be moving away from that. And that front is going to become more and more united. There's a lot of power of persuasion. People are going to be talking to each other. Those voices that are leading the way will be very powerful. Will be able to correct the direction of the ship, if you will. A great deal of this is because of the economy, that people are hurting and they're going to continue hurting. And this latest bill that was just signed into law on July 4th is only making that even worse. And it is forcing people's hands to wake up. Um, and down here at the bottom, this is the part that really makes me happy. So, um, we have a lot of the card readers and psychics on YouTube have talked a great deal about the possibility of military interaction, if you will, their role in all of this, and that there's the possibility that 45 will ask them to intervene in the Russia-Ukraine war and sending troops into that area. Again, they are going to be true to their word, to their oath. They're going to follow their oath, and it's going to involve strategic moves to ensure that when they say no to that order, that they are going to be okay with it. And it's going to come down to unknown clauses in the military's duties. So something is going to come out that a lot of people aren't aware of if and when that order from the president comes down. All right, going to pause for a moment and move on. I don't know if I mentioned this or not, but that was the Governance Oracle. Those are the cards that I just used by Trishe Jaimes. Okay, so for this section, I am using the predictions deck again by Trishe Jaimes. Have I mentioned that I love her cards? If I haven't, let me remind you, I really love her cards. And for this set, I asked as I was shuffling the cards, give me news that's going to happen this week. Worldwide news, US news, what we can expect for the upcoming week. I have more floods and heavy rains happening, unfortunately. We are going to have news of more science breakthrough, and that's going to hit mainstream news. This week, they shared that there is a blood test for Alzheimer's disease now, and I'm so excited for that. I'm so excited for that. My mom had vascular dementia, um, and so any way we can test for and successfully treat any form of dementia is a huge benefit to society as a whole. We're going to hear more about housing issues in big cities, but I also feel like we're going to hear more about housing issues just around the world, around the country, I should say. Insofar as people are not earning enough money to keep up with inflation, and because of that, they are not sure where to get, where to put their money. Um, and if you are one of those people, I always highly suggest you pay your rent or your mortgage first. All right, we may hear about a commercial airline. I don't know if this is a crush or like more issues with perhaps the Boeing planes or what that is. But I also feel like we're going to see some new rules, new policies, new laws on the books in the United States regarding the US-based airlines and how they operate and their safety procedures, because I feel like that's an issue. Um, we may see more military action, but the biggest one that concerns me is the energy weapon and what that means. With Iran working on creating a nuclear warhead, this one concerns me. What are we going? I think we're going to see more related to that this week, possibly next. That feels like 2 weeks out to me, but this all feels like this coming week. All right, let me pause for a moment. Okay, for this last part, I'm using the investigation deck by Trishe Jaimes. I know, you're surprised now, right? Okay, so Alan Dershowitz talked about knowing who's on the client list. The very first card that I pulled is the Emperor, and the Emperor is somebody who is in charge. I see this allegedly as the felon in the White House. Whomever the Emperor is, they are deeply involved, and they had help. They had accomplices. They may be deeply involved, but they didn't do it by themselves. That's for sure. And there are multiple crimes interconnected. It is a large web, I believe. And I could be wrong about that, but I don't think I am. Um, Whoever comes out with the information is going to be taking a huge risk, a huge risk. And that's not going to happen overnight. You know, we all want this information to be released, but it is being delayed. And I believe that there are some really big names on that list who are paying a lot of money for that to happen. They don't want their reputations dirtied because that's going to expose some secrets they don't want brought out. But ultimately, it's going to make us think about them differently. They're going to lose the esteem that they've held on to for their, a big portion of their life, but they're also going to lose money. when they do that because I foresee them being completely ruined. For those whose names are on that list, if and when we ever do see those files, it's going to bring a lot of people down. I don't know for sure who those people are. I have my inklings, but I could be very, very wrong. That is my reading, and I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I hope you have a beautiful week coming up. It's going to be a very busy week for me. My job kind of does the up and down with the workflow, and next week is going to be a busy week. It's going to be one of the up weeks for my workflow. Got a couple more videos I'm going to create today that will come out later this week. Those are the self-care videos. I do want to remind you all, bring joy into your life wherever you possibly can. And I know how scary this is because I'm scared too. That said, there's also a lot of joy that can happen in our lives. And wherever and whenever you can grasp at that, wherever you can laugh, wherever you can take a moment of just being in a space of quiet and relief and love, do so. It is for your well-being. And that's what matters right now. Know this, he is not going to be in that office much longer. I don't know a single person who is a psychic on YouTube, a card reader, a psychic, it doesn't matter. And card readers really are, we use our intuition a lot. So we are in that whole umbrella of psychic abilities. Not a single one of us has seen him in office the entire 4 years. Every single one of us see him either passing away, having health problems, and being removed for the 25th Amendment. That's mine. I believe he's going to have a stroke. I believe he's already having strokes, but that's my opinion. I could be wrong. Allegedly, and for entertainment purposes only. Everything here is under that umbrella. Um, and others believe that he will be removed when he gives an illegal military order. It doesn't matter. None of us see him being there long term. And to that end, whoever comes in behind him, whether that be JD Vance or a council like some of us have seen, or if it's a different Democratic president, it doesn't matter who comes in behind him. What matters is that this law can be changed. Breathe through this. Take good care of yourself. Stop. If you are feeling high anxiety, step away from the politics. Turn off the news. I don't watch the news. I watch the news maybe once or twice a week. I read a lot of the news, but I don't watch the news. And I look for good news. Earlier in this video, I talked about the Alzheimer's blood test, and I'll link that below. That's what I'm talking about. I look for good news. I look for the positive things that are available around us. I talk to my neighbors. We laugh, and my husband and I, God, we laugh. I spend time in my garden. I have some cucumbers and some cherry tomatoes on my counter right now. My garden is already producing. So, those are the things that are fulfilling to me. And I hope you have things in your life that are equally as fulfilling to you, and that give you a chance to de-stress. Okay, that's all I have for you today. Remember that you are made of stardust and magic. You are far more powerful than you realize, and you are profoundly loved. Again, I hope you have a beautiful week ahead. Okay, take care. Bye now.